Come here, get some water.
How's it going, everyone? Let's talk about Craftsman tools today, huh? More importantly, I mean, that's what we'll be focused on, Craftsman tools, but there's more important lessons that can be learned from all of this. One, if we look at the fate of companies such as brands such as Craftsman tools, then we get a good picture of what greed looks like. One, people might not see it that way, but you know, we're told that money is the root of all evil. Indeed, it really is, and all kinds of evil things turn out because of money or the pursuit of it. So, however, let's consider this though, right? Craftsman tools, this is, you know, I could come on here and do these videos the way others do, and I'm not trying to cut on other people's videos, right? But with a perspective, business minded, why they would do it, and give you their excuses, you know, and try to give you what's your kinds of thoughts on this, right? Maybe it's this or maybe it's that, or I could just give you the no nonsense view of someone who is very well experienced in not only Craftsman tools, but you know, all tools, right? Craftsman was a great American brand. What happened to it? You know, once upon a time, you know, it was started out by, I'm not going to give you the whole history of Craftsman, you can look it up, but it was started by Sears pretty much. And what a lot of people didn't, Craftsman was a good American made, good quality, all American made tool, right? And for a very long time, and they got that reputation, and then with their warranty, you could, if you had one of those tools and you broke one, you could go right to the, in Craftsman case, go right to Sears, or whoever dealt in Craftsman, but mostly Sears, and return and just get it exchanged and get it replaced, no problem. And but a lot of people didn't realize that Craftsman itself was not actually making tools. For the most part, Craftsman was an outsourced company all along, and they had, and it, to give you the overall perspective, is Craftsman would be Sears or whoever in charge of Craftsman, right? At the time was Sears, would go along to all these other tool makers, find the best quality for the best price, get the best deal, the best quality tools, and have them made there. And that's the way it went. And then as time started going on, soon enough, the Craftsman quality started changing, right? You can go back to this time. Craftsman was good. The thing is, so we look at the fate of Craftsman, and if we take a look at this, Craftsman or their suppliers or whatever, take a look at these fates, and we have we can look at companies such as Harley Davidson and these other companies making the news, all American companies supposedly, right? Making the news about this woke stuff, and people's turning them around away from the woke stuff. But what we're not realizing is what the woke agenda, how it all really started back when a guy named Bill Clinton was president and put into practice NAFTA, right? Brought to us NAFTA. Under NAFTA, things started changing for American manufacturers. Companies started going overseas, getting their work done overseas. Craftsman was no exception. Around this time, companies as Craftsman, okay, Sears itself was starting to hit hard times, and or supposedly, right? Whatever the agendas were, Sears started going under, sold out Craftsman. But before that, even before that, Craftsman started becoming people was finding out that they was becoming made in China and Taiwan, you know, foreign tools. Now, as a tool user, currently right now, my situation I'm going through right now, they still won't return none of my stuff. I'm a mechanic, right? When all this stuff went down for me, I was a mechanic, professional mechanic. They took from me and still will not return to me my tools for my profession. Those tools are a minimum of $60,000 worth of tools, a big old toolbox and all the tools in it. And in that toolbox is almost all American-made tools. It's a great big Snap-on box filled with Snap-on, Mac, and Craftsman tools. A few SK tools, a few other brands here and there. Mostly all American-made, unless I wasn't able to find it in American-made, right? The nice thing about Craftsman was if you had a Sears here, but you know, but you could go. You broke your tool when it comes to Mac and Snap-on and them tool trucks. All good American-made tools, right? And you get it replaced, no problem. But you got to wait till the tool guy shows up, right? So if I only see you once a week or once every 2 weeks, I break a tool today, I need it today. I'm only going to see you unless you're in the area and I call you up, right? But otherwise, I could go down. Well, now Harbor Freight stepped in and their quality has become quite a long way. The foreign tools, the Chinese-made tools and the Taiwan-made tools, the quality has actually come a long way these days. You know, so if I saw somebody using one of them tools, whatever. And in my case right now, once in a while I got to pick up something cheap to do something because I don't have my tools no more. I have a handful. I have a couple of Craftsman wrenches, a couple SK wrenches, sockets. That's all I have now, right? Just a few, very few. Otherwise, I run down to Harbor Freight, pick up those tools, because these days the quality is almost just as good. And can you justify these prices of these American tools? So you take Craftsman, and now here's what we got. Now, back in our heyday here, I'm standing right here in this empty spot, right? Right here behind me was John Manville. They're still using it for some warehousing, but that's all. It was John Manville factory, and then all of this where I'm standing was SK Tools. Okay, SK Tools. Most of your Craftsman tools, especially within a certain time frame, while SK Tools was still in business, and as far as I know they are, but now they're down to like one factory or something like that, right? But as a lot of your Craftsman tools were actually SK Tools. Your Craftsman tools were being made by either SK or, you know, stuff like that. Well, now, you know, with all the tool things, and this is for any American, not just tools, right? But all through here. So what kept Defiance where I live, what kept us alive for many, many years, and Defiance can't seem to get out of this thing that they can't face reality that this ain't the way life is anymore. But back over here was General Motors, about a quarter of a mile that way, right? Then right through here was SK Tools. Over here, John Manville. These were the main companies here in Defiance, and Defiance experienced so much growth. Now General Motors is still here, but they're a dying company. Hardly anything's going on with them anymore. They used to employ thousands of people, and now they down to a few hundred, right? And our Defiance can't seem to figure out that General Motors is going, you know, around here, right? So, but that's what we had, and they produced all these and SK Tools. All these people are now out of jobs. You see what I'm saying? And they made your Craftsman tools, and not just SK. There's other companies too, but a lot of your Craftsman tools. And in fact, there was a time when this place was so busy with the SK Tools. The factory was sitting here. You can't see it no more. But then on the end, down here where the other buildings are, on the other end of that ground, was a little fenced-in trash container, and people used to get scrap tools out of there that they would scrap for just simple reasons, like something wasn't right with the chrome plating or whatever, and they'd get free good quality tools right there, right? And that's the way this stuff was. So maybe Harley Davidson should take some lessons, but all of us should consider what's going on. Your good quality Craftsman is no longer your good quality Craftsman anymore, right? And technically, You know, and a lot of people say, oh, you know, anymore I go into a Lowe's and I see all this packaged up Craftsman tools, and it almost feels like you're buying some Stanley tools, right? Well, there's a good reason for that, because Craftsman is now actually owned by the same company that makes and owns Mac tools, which also makes Proto tools, and you can give a whole list of names there. They're almost like, that's what these companies do anymore. You really only have one or two tool manufacturers, and most of them are taking their stuff out of overseas, right? But they're making all the names, right? So you're buying, so you got a Craftsman tool. It's the same thing as Stanley, as Black & Decker, Mac tools, Proto, all these tool names. You know, yeah, if you buy Mac, you're getting a little higher quality than you are with the Stanley tool. It's all the same company, right? And now we're finding out, as I was finding out before all this went down with me, as I was buying tools, now even your Mac tools and Snap-on tools are even being made overseas. A lot of them aren't even American made anymore. You're paying this extra money for this good quality tool because it's American made, right? And that's what I'm getting at. All of us, you know, that's what kept a lot of these companies going. They were American made, all American companies, and they're no longer, right? Am I saying if you go buy a brand new Craftsman wrench today, the quality is shit? No, I'm not. Because the fact of the matter is, it's actually pretty decent quality. But it's not American made. It's not American jobs, right? Those American jobs are gone. Everybody who used to make Craftsman tools, none of those people are around. None of those jobs are around anymore here in America, right? And a lot of your bigger brand name tools, and these mechanics are paying big money off the tool truck, and most of them are the same way, being made out of the country. So the question is, what happened to Mac tool or Craftsman tools? What happened to this good, great, all-American brand? You know, because I remember that. That's how I was raised. You're going to support American jobs, and you're going to, so your tools, you're going to have American-made tools, good quality American-made tools. And one of the things I'm so sore about, where they took all my stuff from me and refused to give it back, is I have tools from where I was still like 14 years old. My parents gave me a set of Craftsman tools. All those tools were still in my box that I used every day at work. You know, and it's just stuff like that. But that's how that's how many of us were raised, right? But those tools are not the name. You know, you're buying that name anymore, and it's not the same commitment it used to be. It's not the same honor it used to be. Yeah, they still have this. You can return your Craftsman tools and have them replaced, but it's a lot different than it used to be. You don't just walk in the store and say, "Here's my broken tool, replace it," right? And you know, so how can Harley take, you know, all this Harley and John Deere and these companies? How can they all consider what these things that's gone on? What's going to happen to their companies? Well, they don't care. They're still going to make the money. You see, the people in charge are still going to make the money. But you know, as we see from, even though Harley Davidson backed off of their DEI nonsense, the jobs are still, you know, they still got so many jobs going overseas, and it's going to continue, right? Soon enough, you're buying a half foreign motorcycle. So what's the use, right? You're buying Craftsman tools. Well, what's the use anymore? It's not the good quality American made name anymore. It's just a name that was bought out by somebody else, and they decided to provide those tools elsewhere, you know, manufacture them elsewhere, you know? So what happened really? Well, what it comes down to is greed happened, and all these new age agendas happened. And, you know, so all these companies that keep getting caught up in this DEI stuff, I advise you to take a look at some companies, such as Craftsman, and look at the fate where you're bringing your company. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you in the next video.